So one of the things that annoys me the most
Hold
about
up. Something annoys you, Mike? You say something annoys you?
one of the things that irritates me, it just grinds my gears.
Okay, let's hear it.
One of the things that just grinds my gears about the online coaching community is the amount of so-called experts who no longer work in the industry that they teach, right? And in fact, that was one of the things why I was really resistant to go online and coach years ago in 2018, because I was seeing so much of this coaching community that no longer worked in the industry that they were professing to be experts in. And that just irritated me. I felt like we work in an industry where things move rapidly. And if you're teaching, but you haven't worked in the industry since, 2012, a lot has changed.
Yeah.
Right? It might be different if you were teaching welding. But
it changes year after year after year. It's a moving, continuous thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And so specifically when it comes to the entertainment industry, it changes, and there are fads that, we find ourselves in, and there's technology changes that we have to stay on top of and whatnot. And like I said, like if it was welding, it might be a little different. Welding might not change at the speed of the entertainment industry, which really a big part of the entertainment industry is technology, right? So it really grinds my gears when there's a lot of people teaching online. And we deal with that on our end in the sync space, where we have people, reach out to us and they're like, well, so-and-so says this.
Right.
And I always have to laugh and be like, yeah, well, so-and-so hasn't been working in the industry since 2012.
Right.
But specifically as it relates to that, one of the things that I've really prided myself on, and I know that you've prided yourself on, is the fact that we've continued to work in the industry. We continue to get placements. And specifically in your situation, what's really exciting as we move into this next year of 2025, you are now the music supervisor for the entire Bachelor and Bachelorette franchise. So that's a huge, huge, huge win, a huge position. And for those who don't know, the Bachelor and the Bachelorette, there's additional shows as part of that franchise beyond just those two.
Yeah, there's the Golden Bachelor, Golden Bachelorette, and Bachelor in Paradise. So they have these spinoffs. The show's been on since 2002. That's 23 years of running show. That's a very long time for a reality show to be happening for that long.
I'm sure that you have been absolutely inundated since the announcement went out. We've seen that announcement on the interwebs. I'm sure that you've been inundated with a lot of music since, and I'd love for you to share a little bit about your perspective. It's one thing when you're the supervisor of a film, which is mostly where you've been through your career.
Yes.
Mostly in film. But then to get a series, and such a big series and popular series that has a lot of reruns as well, what has the experience been when it comes to the other professionals who are the music creators reaching out to you to get you their music?
Well, it's been pretty awesome. This is a big show I'm very excited about. And definitely I've received, the floodgates have opened. I've been getting a lot of emails from all angles, from majors and indies and libraries and musicians and artists that we work with. And I think that's what's really empowering about being able to bring this inside access to our Sync Titans. That's what I'm really excited about. I mean, just like we did with Ethan Bloom in the film that we produced, now I'm in this position where I can open up these opportunities for a franchise like The Bachelor for our Sync Titans.
Yeah. And that's kind of one of the big components to, in my opinion, coaching, and why I've always been so irritated with those who teach online but don't work in the industry. We get inundated with musicians who come to us because they were taught the wrong information. So-and-so said this, so-and-so said that. What do we do now? Nothing's working. What do we do now? Sync sucks. That was my favorite one. Sync licensing sucks. I've been trying to do this for years and I've never gotten a placement. And my response is, yeah, but you didn't actually follow the current formula to land placements. You're still living in 2014.
Yeah, and living with a scarcity mindset instead of an abundance mindset, knowing, sync licensing doesn't suck, or there wouldn't be all these people crushing it in sync, having and loving their life and, creating the music they want to create. And
Yeah.
sync licensing is amazing. It's changed your life. It's changed my life. It's changing our Sync Titan members' lives. So people who say that, it's because they don't know what they don't know.
Yeah. And, it's interesting. I was at an event last year and I sat at a table and this woman who was a songwriter, she came to the table and people were just talking and she said, sync licensing is so hard. And I, being the non-opinionated person that I am, and being the very quiet person,
Right.
I did not interject and say, no, it's not. Which I obviously did interject. And I said, no, it's not. It's pretty simple. And she says, well, of course you say that you've had over 2,000 placements. And my thought is, no, that's not really it. I think sync licensing is easy because I understand how to do it. When you don't know how to do something, it's difficult. When the process that you've been taught is no longer viable for today's market, it's an outdated process, it's very difficult, right? And this kind of goes back to why I just get so agitated by the amount of online educators who no longer work in the business and they're teaching processes that don't work anymore.
Yeah. And if you're following the traditional music industry and that's all you know, sync licensing is going to be hard because you're following the wrong path. You're following the wrong methods. When you follow the sync placement formula step by step and you learn that formula and you embrace it and you implement it, it's very easy. And you do it over and over again. And that's what you've done and what I've done. And
yeah,
100%.
So when you get emails from artists, obviously a lot of people know that this is what you're doing now. How long does it take you to read that email and know whether or not they know what they're doing and whether or not there's someone that you would trust working with?
Are we counting Mississippi, Cincinnati, or 1,000?
Let's just go with Mississippi because it's pretty common.
Probably 2 Mississippis.
Okay.
That's about it.
It's that quick for you.
It's that quick.
What is the most obvious tell for you that someone has no idea how to play the sync licensing game?
When there's one sentence.
Okay.
Hey, looking for a sync. They don't sign their name. They don't sign their phone number. They don't sign their email. I got one the other day. I almost shared it with you. I should have. But it was just like, I get so many emails like that. Yo, hook me up with a sync. Really? So yeah, it's pretty evident. And then here's the other one that this is the opposite. It's a long email. It's well written, but it's all about how they love my work on Won't You Be My Neighbor or Ingress the Animation or Ugly Delicious that I'm not working on and have worked on for years. When I see that in the top, I'm done. It's like you're not paying attention to who you're trying to build a relationship with. If you're going to build a relationship with somebody and you're not taking the time and effort to focus on that and do that, then the time and effort you spend on your music is going to reflect that. So I'm not going to waste my time listening to the records that you create when you just show me that you don't pay attention to details. Because to have a quality record, you got to pay attention to the details, right? You got to listen to how things are tracked. You got to pay attention to how it's mixed, how it's EQ'd. You got to pay attention to those things. And if you're not to mention the songwriting, but if you're not doing that, it's very evident by the emails that I get. Now, there are exceptions, Mike, where people, maybe they're just not good at crafting an email and they are good at, recording and mixing. Sure. But
yeah,
you've got to take the time to learn the craft. It is a craft of doing outreach and reaching out to music supervisors in a way that is structured and simple. And it's very simple. I mean, you have, what is it, Ford? You have the Ford process. It's like, hey, dear so-and-so, my name is blah, blah, blah. I create this, this, and this. I've had placements on this, 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 and this. Here's my disco link. Thank you for your time. Or if it is a fit for the show, and if it truly is, and if you're going to call it out, it better be a fit for the show. I think these songs would be a great fit because they're very much like this song and that song that was used in that episode.
Yes. Yeah.
Like that little things like, oh, okay. So you listened to that, you saw the episode, you listened to these songs and you identified one of your songs that's going to fit into that. I will listen to that.
Yeah.
But if I listen and it's way off, then I know you're a complete bullshitter.
Yeah.
You're not paying attention because people they'll try to skirt that. They'll try to cheat that because we've been online for a while. We've been teaching this and they've heard us say this, and they try to get the quick win. It's like, no. This is a long-term thing. Pay attention, nurture the relationships, because you're doing that for your business. You're the head of you're your CEO. You're running a company. So take it seriously. And that's to every musician. You should be thinking like an entrepreneur. You run a record label. You run a publishing company. That's your publishing company. It's your record label. So if you're half-assing it, you're going to have half-assed results. I'm coming off a little harsh, but
no, it's great. I love it. This is the beauty of you spending time with me, because you start getting a little bit more opinionated and I'm starting to rub off on you, and you get animated, and this is the good stuff.
It grinds my gears.
It grinds the gears. And there's that point where you cross over being nice and relaxed and patient to just, this is stupid, right? And there's an element here where you said it brilliantly. It's a business, and it's a professional business. It's a multi-billion-dollar business. And you're not dealing with stupid people. You're dealing with extremely talented people whose job is to then serve other extremely talented and smart people, who are then serving other extremely talented and smart people, right? And when you're trying to play the game and pull something over on someone, it's not going to happen, So it does become frustrating, because it becomes a time waster.
Yeah, sometimes I just want to grab him by the shoulder and shake him. What are you thinking?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Wake up.
Yeah.
Like in an airplane or something. Just wake the hell up.
Yeah, just that line of people just smacking them. Yeah.
Lining up with a wrench, lining up with a gun.
Yeah.
Like, take your turn. Like, wake the hell up. What are you doing? You are running a company. Take yourself seriously. Let's do this. Let's go. I mean, that's what we're here to do. It's like, but at some point, we've shared everything. We've shared all the knowledge. We're still sharing it. We're trying to lift people up. And there comes a point where, if you're not capable of it, you're not capable of it. You should bail.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. There's one thing to have that desire.
I'm not trying to discourage. Yeah, I'm not trying to discourage. It's like, it's not hard.
It's not hard. Yeah. Well, you have to have the knowledge. And this kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, the woman's like, sync licensing is hard. And my thing was, no, it's not. Well, yeah, you say that, but you've had 2,000 placements. Well, I've had 2,000 placements because I know how to do it, and it's not hard. The reason why it's not hard is because I know the system. I know the formula, right? It's easy to fix an engine to a vehicle when you understand how the components of the vehicle work.
Right.
It's impossible to fix an engine when you don't know the first thing between what a carburetor does and a piston and a fuel pump or any of that stuff. It's impossible. But it's really not that hard. It takes a little bit of time to learn it.
We've made it so easy for them, Mike. We have created a course. We have a course that covers everything you need to know. It took me probably a good 2 years of just doing it and figuring it out on the fly and really understanding it. And I know you the same. Like, that's how it used to be. We have a course. You could plow through it in 2 days if you want, and you'll be an expert. It's like, we made it so simple.
It's hard to have patience. For that, like, I don't know how to do it. Yeah, all the assets are there. It's not that you don't know how to do it. It's that you're choosing not to learn. Well, I don't have the money. Okay, that's a choice. You're choosing not to have money. If I had a $10,000 bill, which I don't think exists, and I offered you that $10,000 bill for $1,000, would you suddenly find the $1,000? I mean, literally. $10,000 bill, I'm going to sell it to you for $1,000. Every single person will find the $1,000. If I have a $100,000 bill and I'll sell it to you for $10,000, suddenly you're going to have that $10,000.
Yeah. Hey, let me call my mom. Give me a sec.
Exactly.
I need 10,000. I'll pay you half.
It's exactly it. I'll pay you. I'll double that. Right. But to me, that's that decision. So when people say like, "Oh, I don't have that," no, that's not the case.
You're not a careerist. You're still thinking of it like a hobby, right?
Yeah, 100%. You probably have a beautiful Les Paul, which costs you $2,000. You probably have a Marshall amp setup, which costs you another $1,000 sitting behind you, right? That you don't play that much. because you chose to buy that and you chose to invest in that guitar and that amp or whatever the instrumentation is that you invested in. But then you have literally this laid out for you. To me, it's a choice, and I'm happy to share it. I'm happy to talk about it. But if you're not going to make the decision to invest in yourself, why should I invest any more of my time into you? And that's just from the coach's perspective, much less the industry professional's perspective, who has deadlines, and you're dealing with other publishers and record labels and artists and independent musicians who understand the business. Why waste any of your time on them? I know we've totally gone all these different directions in this conversation, but it does come back. It does come back around to the fact that, you know, people have an opportunity, especially people who are in our community. They have an opportunity. They've been learning from you. They've been in your world for a while. Now they have a direct opportunity to work with you. And the thing is like, it's either going to open up doors for you when you take advantage of that opportunity and you come to the table with all of the knowledge and the understanding, or those doors are going to remain shut if you choose not to, even after we've laid out the golden path for you. And that's why, you know, when people come into our world and they say like, well, sync is overrated, I always have to laugh because I know the size of our email list. I know the amount of numbers of people who open up the emails. I know the numbers of people who click on them and watch videos like this that we post. And then I know the numbers of people who've actually come into the community and come into the program. And it's this big.
Yeah.
So it literally is, there's 1%, maybe 2% of people who want to learn about licensing, who actually go all the way to the end and they learn about it and they learn the full framework. The other 98%, 99% sit back and go, I've been trying to do this for years. Well, it's a choice. It's a choice whether or not you want to succeed in licensing. Licensing is not hard. I will say that to my dying day. I think sync licensing is very easy. It's easy when you know how to do it. It is extremely difficult when you don't. It is easy to open up the doors with professionals like Jody when you know how to play the game. It is extremely hard to open up those doors when you don't. And all of that comes back to making that decision of whether or not you're actually going to invest in yourself, because that's what it comes down to. Are you going to invest in yourself in your future? Or are you going to sit back and say, well, no, I'll keep thinking about it. I'll keep thinking about it.
Or I'm going to treat it like a hobby. I mean, I will say I do pay attention to people in our community who submit, and, you know, I see who submits quality. I see who adds their metadata. I see who's following the formula and who's not. And it stands out, those who are. So those who are committing and learning the sync placement formula, and they're also doing well. Those are the people who are landing placements, who are doing library deals. The people that we're placing are those who have gone through and learned the sync placement formula. So when I'm looking to our community of sync titans for the Bachelor or any projects, I have those people that are top of mind. Even within our community, it stands out who's applying what they learn, who's really gone through it, because we can see the stats too. We can open up the person's profile and see, oh, they only completed 30% of the program. Well, this is why they're having a hard time. It's not our job to reach out to them and say, hey, you need to complete the other 70%. That's not on us. That's on you guys watching this to follow through and complete the program if you're serious about having a sustainable music career.
Best we can do is bring you the opportunities. We bring you the opportunities. Now we have our coach who's landed a premier role with a massive franchise. The road does not get any more paved than this. So hope you enjoyed something out of this conversation. Jody and I, we have these conversations a lot. We decided we're going to start recording them and sharing them because we do get into the depth. But, you know, it's fun for us to be able to just have these conversations. And that's what we're going to start seeing moving forward, is conversations like this where we try and bring it around for a lesson, but we also want you to see what really goes on behind the scenes in the entertainment industry, specifically in the sync world.
Yeah, we'll have more conversations as I get further into this job too. I feel like there's going to be a whole world of conversations we can have around what's going on behind the scenes there.
Oh, it's going to be exciting. 2025 is going to rock. If you're interested in getting your songs into your favorite films, TV shows, commercials, trailers, and video games, you're going to want to check out the free guide below.